Hello, my name is Dr. Sean McCorkle at Summer Creek Animal Clinic, and today I wanted to answer some frequently asked questions we get regarding cat dermatology or cat skin conditions. So my assistant Lauren's going to ask some questions, and I hope this is helpful for you to learn more about skin disease in your cat.
Dr. McCorkle, what are some common skin issues in cats?
Yeah, some of the common things we see most commonly are allergies. So I like to break those down into categories: environmental allergies, which are going to be various pollens and things like that in the environment. Flea allergies, usually consider that its own type of allergy because they're so common and prevalent where we are in Fort Worth, Texas. And then food allergies, which is an allergy to a specific protein. So any combination of those, very common. There are certain infectious diseases like ringworm that we see most commonly in younger cats, but it can happen in any age. Mites, there are different types of mites that can occur in cats, and they affect the cat in different ways. Ear mites, a couple different skin mites. Those are relatively prevalent, again, and particularly in younger cats. And then, skin cancer, unfortunately, is not that uncommon in cats. There's a variety of different types, some benign, some malignant. And so those are things we have to be aware of. Again, that tends to be at middle age to older cats that we tend to see those in. So those are some broad categories that we tend to see.
What causes skin conditions in cats?
Yeah, so the allergies that we typically see, we think there's a lot of genetic influence there, and so just something that's passed down from cat to cat. So allergies tend to be just super prevalent, and the exact cause in each individual case is oftentimes something that we don't know for sure. There's cancer, which again is going to be both a genetic and an environmental influence. Lots of different components there, and there's always ongoing research. Infectious diseases like ringworm is typically something that they're gonna catch from another animal, from the soil, from a human that's been in contact with another animal. There's all different kinds of ways that they can get those type of infectious diseases, but it's usually through contact with the organism. So, and again, broad terms, those are some of the big things we see. Now, this is another really important point because we see a lot of skin infections in cats and in dogs. And the infection, whether it be staph bacteria or Malassezia yeast, the cause of that is not that the cat caught the infection from somebody else. Those secondary bacterial and yeast infections are the result of an underlying skin condition. So the allergies, the mites, the ringworm, those things lead to a disrupted skin barrier that allow the bacteria and yeast that are already on your cat's skin, just like they're already on our skin. That disrupted skin barrier, that inflammation that's caused by the primary underlying condition, allows for those organisms to overgrow. And that's a really important distinction because the infections that we see, bacterial and yeast, are not the primary issue. They have to be treated and managed, but it's the underlying cause, the allergy, the environmental allergies, whatever it is, that's the big issue that has to be managed.
Why is my cat so itchy?
Yep. So itchy cats, again, most commonly, that's going to be allergies in most cases. And so you have different levels of different things that are causing the itch. So primarily, you have the underlying condition. So if you have an allergy, if you're allergic to, let's say, a variety of pollens, the immune system in your cat is overreacting and causing inflammation, which for cats and dogs tends to be in the skin. That inflammation disrupts the skin barrier, and all of those things working together cause itching. And then on top of that, once your pet gets secondary skin infections, that additional infection causes even worse itching. So how much each layer is causing itching kind of depends on the individual situation, but a combination of the inflammatory process that's happening because of the allergy and then the secondary bacterial or yeast overgrowth, those things together are causing itching. And sometimes there's not any secondary infection. It's just an underlying allergy or some other condition that's causing your cat to itch. So each situation is different, and that's why having your pet evaluated by a veterinarian is so important, because there's a lot of things to tease out. And in some cases where it's just really difficult to manage, which those do happen, and the cats are typically miserable, it's really important to consider referral to a board certified dermatologist to try to get the best control possible in those really difficult cases.
We know allergies can cause itchy skin in cats, but can anxiety or stress cause skin conditions or itchiness in my cat?
Yes, we do see that in cats. I will say that most commonly, the overwhelming majority of cats that are itchy is related to an underlying organic or skin condition, or something else going on in the body that's causing skin conditions. So there's other issues in the body that manifest themselves as a skin problem, but there's usually some underlying cause that's not behavioral. However, once you've ruled all of those things out, and in some cases, cats that are stressed, anxious, day to day dealing with high levels of anxiety for whatever reason, sometimes will manifest in them pulling their hair out, not because they're itchy, but because they're stressed. Those can be difficult situations to tease out what the issue is. It's really important to first focus on the common things that cause cats to do that, which are itchy skin conditions. But it's also very important to understand that oftentimes, especially indoor cats, are dealing with a lot of stress just related to a lack of environmental stimulation, a lack of mental and physical stimulation. And so working through those factors and inter-cat conflict or inner conflict with other pets in the house, there's all kinds of things behaviorally that impact cats that in some cases lead them to manifest that stress in pulling out their hair. But again, these are complicated situations, so it's really important that you work through those things with your veterinarian to get the best results.
Could a grooming product I'm using be causing skin conditions in my cat?
Yeah, not commonly. There certainly can be reactions to anything that you put on your cat. Even the best flea and tick preventions and even the product that we use will occasionally cause a reaction. So that just can't be avoided. But it's typically shortly after you apply the product, and it's not typically something that's going to be an ongoing thing unless you're using the product, your cat's having a significant reaction, they're itchy, their skin's red, and then you're continuing to use the product regularly. That's possible. But I often get asked, my cat we bathed my cat a month ago and it's still itching. Is that related to the shampoo? I mean, possible, but it's just not, it's so much more common if your cat's having skin issues that there's an underlying issue, allergies, something like that we've discussed, versus some product that you're using that's causing ongoing issues. Again, that has to be worked through with your veterinarian because that is another factor. There can be reactions there. I'm just saying that is not a common thing that we see.
Thanks, Dr. McCorkle. And last question, how can I care for my cat's skin at home?
Yeah, cats, it can be tricky here, right? Because you can't bathe them usually very readily. That can be really stressful. And so I think the thing that I try to think through when we're dealing with cats with chronic skin and ear conditions is doing our best to try to identify what the underlying cause is, especially if it's recurring. And then what can we do to try to lower that itch level as much as possible and try to keep any secondary infection under control? And so I think having that discussion with your veterinarian and coming up with a plan that makes sense. Like if you really have a hard time applying anything to your cat's skin, me sending you either with a medicated shampoo, which we don't do very often for cats, or even a medicated mousse that you can just rub onto your cat without water, if that's going to be really stressful for your cat, and that's not something we're going to want to ask you to do regularly. So we've got to find that balance in what works and what we're trying to accomplish. But I think generally trying to come up with a plan for some sort of topical management. We have some great options now with products that help to keep that skin barrier healthy, to reduce itch levels. Some of them even help to reduce bacterial and yeast numbers. So that can be part of the equation. Supplemental therapy. So, either special diets that provide additional nutritional support to provide immune system benefits and support skin health, to adding in really high quality omega fatty acid supplements. I'm a big fan of that if we can make that work. And so there's, regular ear flushing if your cat has a history of ear infections. There's different things that can be worked through, but it has to be a very holistic approach. And what I mean by that is if you can't clean your cat's ears at home because they're not going to tolerate it, then we need to come up with a different plan, or we need to come up with some sort of plan to get your cat acclimated to that, which is really important and helpful. And at Summer Creek Animal Clinic here, we have a trainer on staff that's also a veterinary technician that provides what we call cooperative care services. So having your cat trained and acclimated to having their ears handled, or even, to getting a bath or to being brushed or whatever it is, we can provide that service to help you get to a place where you can provide more regular care at home. So again, the point here, I think the emphasis is these are the type of discussions you need to have with your veterinarian to come up with a plan that works best for your cat and for what's logistically feasible for you at home. So I hope these were helpful and that you know a little bit more about skin disease in cats. We would love to help you at Summer Creek Animal Clinic. You can reach us at 817-523-1139. And we have lots of great information on our website at summercreekvet.com. Thank you so much.